Hello and welcome to day 54, session 2 of the 365-day meditation challenge. This time I tested the timer and it doesn't stop anymore. I tested it for about 1 hour and it didn't stop at all. So the ghost of the timer is no longer with us. So that's nice. I had my first training session with a paid training session with a dog, a beautiful ogre. I think it's a French ogre or something like that. I don't know how to say it in English. So, very beautiful training session, paid training session with another dog. So that was super nice. I'm not accredited. This person has saw what I did in the metro with Sophie, and she was like, I want you to train my dog. And I was like, yes, no problem. They gave me their number, and I contacted them, and they wanted today. So I contacted them this morning, and then they wanted a session right away. And the dog was super, super, super responsive to food, to a leash, to everything. She was the greatest. Like Sophie is a bit more intense and more determined. That dog was like so lovely and so gentle. Sophie's like jumping, and she sometimes jumps from that chair in my lap and jumps on people and jumps on me. And I'm trying to be very gentle with her, but sometimes I have to be a bit more pushy, because sometimes you have to set clear boundaries, and if you are a bit wishy-washy about it, the dog is like, maybe I can get away with it. So yeah, but the dog was so lovely and she was super responsive. And I told them, like, I usually do one session for just one session for free, and usually they don't need a second session, because I record everything, I send them, and they have all the information. I make sure that in the first session I demonstrate everything, how it works. I show them proof that it works and how to do it with positive reinforcement, with food. I told them, like, the second meal, don't feed her, and we're gonna give that food in the session, in the training session. And it was amazing. Like, she was responding to boundaries, to everything. Like, it was a changed dog. They were like, this is impossible. Not really, but they were expecting, of course, that. But they were expecting to be a bit amazed of how someone can handle a dog differently. But I was amazed by the fact that the dog was super, super responsive to my way of training dogs, which is a bit more. I don't try to do negative reinforcement at all, if possible, but I make it very clear what I want from the dog. So I need a leash to put just a tiny amount of pressure, and I test to see if the dog understands clearly what I'm trying to convey. And she understood immediately with just 2 fingers on the leash. I was like, yes. And she was like, I was trying to teach her how to get down from the bed or from the table or something like that. So I was actually repeating the behavior that she's doing wrong on command, because if a dog knows how to do a bad behavior on command, it means it's training. It's still training, but I'm not reinforcing that behavior. I reinforce the behavior that I want. So I was putting her in bed, well, asking her to go in bed, and then asking her to go down. And I was still rewording verbally when she was in bed, but only rewording with food when she was on the floor. So the command, and I was giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 treats. So she understood that the floor is much more valuable. So the more you build and you put rewards in that piggy bank, the more rewarded the dog is to sit exactly where you want them. Because they know that if they sit there, they will get rewarded. So it was super, super nice. I had an amazing experience and it was great. So let's start the meditation now. And there you go. The meditation is over. I don't know if I said that this was day 54, session one. And I just feel absolutely amazing. I'm so excited to actually work even more with Sophie because I've understood so much about working with another dog, because every dog is a bit different in some ways, and you learn a bit of something from every dog that you train. I think they train you more than you train them because if you really pay attention, only things that work stick. And your brain knows that, oh, this worked, and this worked, and this worked. And it really, whenever you have a very positive experience with a dog in training, you really want to train even more. It's addicting because it's self-reinforcing, because it's exactly like building momentum or building any habit. It's 1,000 repetitions in 1 hour, or well, more like 300 repetitions in 1 hour of the things. And it has an effect on you on doing those behaviors, and you start to like really pick them up super, super fast and understand how to grab attention, how to hold attention, and reward behavior, as well as negatively reinforce other behavior that you don't want. Because unfortunately, dogs cannot speak. So, and they cannot understand the words that you are telling them, only the words that you teach them. And if a word is not taught, you cannot expect the dog to know it. And unfortunately, until then, you have to put a bit of negative reinforcement in action. You can do like a lot of positive reinforcement training. There is an entire school trying to do that, but dogs need clear boundaries. Like, a clear boundary for a dog really makes him a chill dog, because he understands what is allowed and what is not allowed. It's a clear boundary, and if the dog has at least one clear as day boundary, then when you say no, or you say, he's gonna understand. But you cannot set boundaries with positive reinforcement. It's as if I wanted you, oh, stop. I give you a small like candy. How many candies will you take until you refuse to do what I said? It's gonna be like, well, I want the cake more, or I want the things that are on the table more. So we need a bit of like, hey, no, please, like, chill. Like, no, like, clear communication that this is not allowed. Like, no. And like, try not hitting the dog, but like being like no. So the dog is like, she wanted to put her paw, because she's like grabbing, and she thinks that if she gives the paw, she receives something. I haven't trained her to do the paw thing in like close to a year. Well, more like 8 months. And some kids in the coffee festival, I went to a coffee festival, they were putting their hands like this, and she started to do it. And I'm like, I haven't trained you in like 8 months to do that, because it's useless. It's mainly useless, but it's fun to like grab hands and meet with the dog and be like, hey, Sophie, good girl. And it's a better way to meet a dog than to bravo. And it's a better way to meet a dog and to build a relationship with the dog. And the kids were like, hey, 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 hey. And she didn't know how to interact with them. she was kind of a bit squeamish and fearful because there were like 5 kids trying to pet her. And then they started to do this, and once one started to do this, everyone started, and she was like, yes, 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 I can touch you and you and you and you. And she was like a game. And now if I do this, she's like, and if I reinforced it, it's if but setting a boundary is, even if I do this and I say no, 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 good. See, it's a boundary. I set a boundary that I don't want her to do that right now. Good girl. No, no. Good girl. She understands boundaries quite well because she's not allowed to do some things around the house and even in public, or she understands boundaries. She's not allowed to sit in my bed, or she's not allowed to, she has her own bed, so she's not allowed to sit in my bed. She's allowed to sit in her bed. She's not allowed to eat from the garbage. So that's a boundary. She's not allowed to jump on the table. She's not allowed to beg at the table. She needs to sit somewhere if she wants food. If she wants a reward, it's exactly the same way. She sits over here because she sits over there because she knows that good things are going to happen if she sits there. And even if they don't happen, she likes that place because a lot of good experience have happened over there. So if you really want to build this connection with the dog and a place, you need to have a lot of great things happening over there. So the dog really, 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 really likes that place because it's like, I get things for free. I get like, it's passive training because I she doesn't do she doesn't actually do it on command. She's actually just rewarded for free. And she thinks like, oh, when I sit here, I get for free. I don't have to do anything but sit here. So yeah. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.